Slight fence here as well, actually.
Now, major fences.
I wouldn't need that.
We need to
My husband watched it.
Oh no, they wouldn't. They'd be this sort of thing too. You'd have kids on the truck and you'd get this some screws.
So then the trolley directs you around the school. Trolley directs you around the school.
Yeah.
Zara.
We have to do it by this.
Yes. I don't know about the virtual trial.
You could actually
The
have
new-
your
the
app
new
for
phones
the
are
closest
just-
store there.
I'm not sure.
Oh.
It would be even better. There's no.
There'd just be a warehouse.
Steve,
Yes.
are we doing new moments of truth now?
Correct.
That's what we're doing, right? Okay.
So as a
Okay.
consequence
I guess, yeah,
of
there's
those
assumptions there.
biggest
Where
returns
you
you're going to
say,
get,
like, I
Yeah.
like
what would the
hardware
future
store,
state
the
process
IDs
look
and
like?
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that's what you do. So then you
So
do
where's
it.
your
You
first
trolley-
tip?
So I think your
Direct you
membership
around
fee
the
or
store.
auto membership
It's
subscription.
it's like a
It's like
GPS.
around how you pay.
So at some stage here, we need to put part of the experience. You'd have to put in personal
So you'd
details.
have to set it up the
Like-
first.
So that's what it's like a
You
GPS.
put in your preference settings and
Yeah,
your
we've got
membership.
but I think you don't have to do that once.
Just one.
Pick up can.
And then every time you put your goggles on it, it's scanned.
And it's your eyes that would be your passport.
Where
and
are
then
the
you
business
just
ladies?
you pretty much like you
I'm
say
sure that there are ways
As
to
you
plan
click,
items.
scan them
We
way
have
off
to
and
scan our kids as they come in the door.
Do we start? Then those might be so long, won't it? Right.
Yeah. And the Crotech thing would just be put on your glasses and away.
Yeah, new moments of truth.
There's
It's
still,
just
you
new.
still have to drive there.
Yeah.
You still have to drive
So
there,
we
but
just
you're only
need
going
to
to
do-
one
Alright, so we've got no food, we put on our Google goggles, then we put in
Menu's good if
details, settings, we just do it one. I'll just put
Why don't we maybe put that
And that's the
in
thing, you
top.
collect the trolley at your
Wow.
station as well, we should put that in there as well, so you, like,
Yes.
so you drive
I
to the
saw that
store,
on one of
collect
his
it.
diagrams, it had a line and then
Directed
it's
to
by
your
the
car
policy.
park.
You can't get one.
Yeah, we need to
Yeah.
put one
Yeah.
or two down, don't we?
Yeah, so drive to the
Then
store.
we choose your medium, which we may have done up
Be
here.
directed
Yes,
to your car
yeah, you
park.
might have done that up there actually,
Yeah?
yeah.
Okay. We've got no food. Assume you've done that. Put on your goggles, you do your virtual shop. And
Put on your
And
glasses.
then you would,
You still need to do
You're
your
okay.
payment.
And then when we get.
No, that's automatic.
That's automatic.
payment options are set up here.
Well, you just,
Well, you
scan
just log
your
so
in.
you would choose
Oh,
your
okay.
every time.
You already
No, you've already paid, so.
Yeah, it's already
Yeah, but then,
connected.
but it ha the
But you
pitch has to
probably
know
wouldn't
what
mind
you
so
put
much
that
because you
in,
hadn't had
just
to
in
pay
case
for
you
it.
stop.
Yeah, it's all in the cloud.
You could
Yeah.
pay for a
Press
premium
button and it
membership.
downloads and
That
that.
also provided the truck driver to
Yes,
come
you
in and
log in,
unpack it.
Unpack it.
What if you drop something in the car, which quite often
And in your
happens, and you
settings
think,
also, you
"Well,
can
that's
set it
whatever."
up so that it.
Or you eat it on the way
Yeah.
out.
It's good because you can adapt
Was
it
it
to
okay?
Christmas, you can adapt
Easy.
it to Easter.
Yes, that's right,
So that
exactly.
all the
That's the thing.
best
So we need
That's the thing.
pick up trolley from Bay.
I think that we
Right.
just set delivery time, like you always want it Thursday nights at 6 o'clock, but then if it's urgent, you could change that as a one-off delivery time.
Maybe, but I don't think, I
Yeah,
think,
because
I
this
think
is
you'd wanna be able to.
Yes,
like,
I know.
night.
Yes, yes.
I want this to be in 1
Yeah.
hour, or
Yeah.
I want your shopping list tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because people's lives
Yeah.
change and busy and
Yeah.
complicated.
This is what you're eating tonight.
I'll just put up delivery times here because you can set up a
Yeah, what's your favourite?
delivery
Yeah.
time if you want to change it.
Yeah.
Become
Change it down there.
Well, there's this new company called Hello
But I think-
Fresh.
We
And
get
it's
delivery
kind of
guide
like
unpack
that.
it.
Yeah, I
Did
think
we
we
find
thought
that it's too
that thing I didn't
expensive
know
or?
what it was.
Yeah.
we didn't get to
And
that?
it sends you the exact
How
ingredients.
did you get the menu
for
chosen?
the recipe to
Actually
each
arriving
but
at
it has certain recipes each week, so
I
you
don't
can't
know, but.
it has them kind of set.
Well,
Yeah, truck driving is up this.
$69
the
a week
medium
for
could be the
3 meals.
deliverer as well as
For 3 meals for 2.
That's okay if you've chosen the
For
yellow.
the
menu.
introductory crack lunch.
Maybe it's George cleaning.
You have to do
Some
that.
So we need to,
Well, he might be
are you
bad
gonna do
as
it? Oh, have we?
But then what's the point?
Just as it is on the screen.
Okay. So next we need
Yeah.
to,
Drone.
And what does it say as well on the screen?
Oh, drone.
That only
Look,
we've
been in it today. I was watching a program last week. With Australia.
And that one.
Oh, along the bottom. I'll get there in the front door.
There is a reason.
So have we,
No,
so
we're not
scan,
gonna-
scan and weigh items as we
Alright,
put them
so
into
somebody's
your
going to
trolley.
unpack it, but we haven't worked
You
out.
still have to,
Like,
well, I
why
don't think
pay at the
this
end.
process.
No,
you
you
have
just
to
automatically do it.
Yeah.
So we have them pay.
We're only doing the ones which are, I guess, viable.
Like it's only
Yeah,
as you walk
yeah,
out the
yeah.
door,
Three ticks.
that will be $653 and they automatically debit to
Put in the fridge.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you'll need some virtual.
Yeah.
There might be a drone.
Yeah, so automatically debit, so it's
Automatically.
like as you leave in the store, it says, have you finished
My
your
husband.
and then you say yes and
He's good at putting
As you exit store.
Yeah.
Alright. We're going to
Yeah, I think
put delivery drone.
We're going to drone now. haven't we?
Delivery
Yeah,
drone.
yeah.
Well, it's a
Yeah.
better
Security
it's a new age process.
Yeah.
Google have already got
Oh, yeah.
drones in some third world.
Then we need
Yes, I
to.
know,
What
yeah.
they told me now.
Except
So
if you
that's going to
like
be able to
both.
lift
Something like
about
Wi-Fi.
$400 worth of shopping.
Like,
It's going to be cost effective.
Yeah, which is a big bag already. So.
Okay.
and in terms of the no food thing, because you're doing virtual shopping from home, your app would be able to, you would be able to add things to the list, and then when you go to do your virtual
And
shopping,
then,
those things have already been
yeah.
selected.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
So you run out of things that you don't need urgently, you could just add them to
The
the
store
list.
talks back to you.
And they're already in the shopping cart.
Just
Okay.
takes it off the shopping list and
So it'll be linked to
you
it.
can add new.
But it doesn't need to
Into
be on
fridge
there.
and larder.
The virtual shop, you just have to put your glasses on.
Oh, it's a larder.
That's right, linked to app.
So yeah, I think your last one is unpack your shopping.
I don't know what we're doing.
We know that, guys?
Ah, and we think this is actually pretty feasible.
Kitchen cupboards, we don't have to.
Virtual reality shopping.
Like a walk-in.
Laundry.
Have you seen those,
Store.
I mentioned yesterday, the Samsung virtual reality headsets?
I've seen people wear them. I haven't actually worn them, but
I've worn them.
have you?
Yeah, in America. I
We've got
wore
the
them.
11 now.
Cool.
I bought.
Did you? They were showing it with a Paul McCartney concert, and it was amazing.
Yes, it is that one. We did a trip to Mesa Verde, you know, where the Indians lived in the caves for many years. So I thought, well, it'd be a good trial out here just to take those 360-degree photographs. So I was like, oh, it's absolutely stunning. We took it back, you know, and it's like so immersive as well.
It is.
And when you look at some of the, there's like a cinema that you sit in, and you can watch normal films in the cinema, but of course it looks a gigantic screen. But you're sat in the cinema, like you would be in a cinema, you can see all the chairs and all the rest of it. And of course your brain's fooled, you put your hand out and somebody's there, oh sorry. Yeah. But in the cinema, of course, it's just empty chairs. It's a
It's
real
amazing.
cool experience. If you go on YouTube, Samsung have put one up there, based here in Australia, where the mother lives in Perth, right? And the husband, he's one of the firefighters, he's actually over in Queensland. And I'll get it up and then I'll download it and show you tomorrow. And of course he can't get back when she goes into labour and stuff, but he actually participates in the birth with the virtual reality headset.
Yeah.
You know, they're in the room and he's looking around and his mother-in-law's over there and that sort of thing. So really weird. So it's not so far out. Yeah. So how many months of truth have we got, guys?
Teleportation without actually teleporting.
I think that those three
Yeah,
together would be
that's right, yeah.
It's sort of
it's a one-off, so 6 or 7.
We'll go with
7.
7.
So we go with 7, okay?
11.
Guys?
11.
11. 11? Alright, now,
We had more to begin with.
11? You have to say it with that, you know,
You have to say it.
the proper way. Now when we're in future state, remember we said there's a relationship of 3 or 4 handovers for every moment of truth. When we go into future state, we will assume that we've improved those as well. So instead of it being a ratio of 4, we use 3 as the measure to give us to allow us to do the calculation. So in this instance, you would have 33 and in this one you would have 21. So let's do our calculation now. See where we've got to. So, it's 21. So that's 42. And then 110, 55, 88. So let's do the calculation on that. And this is where, when using the innovation formula, you'll always get a significantly better result than if you just used align and improve, because you're really pushing out that sort of radical envelope. So, so that's 90%. This one. And that one's 93%. Remembering that improvement is directly related to the cost and service in the process. Make sense? So when you're using the innovation formula, it's a very quick way, once you get familiar with it, it's a very quick way of getting a real radical solution. And it's also a very creative process as well. People enjoy it because you're not shackled by the past and you can do it. Advantages are it's quick and it's radical. Disadvantages are it tends to be less inclusive because you're not actually having a look at the internal machinations of all the stuff that's going on. The people in the room, whilst they might be being creative, perhaps may have a difficulty in actually seeing how you implement that in the context of what they're doing at the moment. So that's worth bearing in mind as well. Where I tend to use it a lot is if I'm working with boards of execs and they don't know the process in detail, they do know the significant moments of truth, and you can engineer it that way. One example of that was when we were working with Virgin America, which is an internal airline in the US, and of course there was no airline, the airline didn't exist. But what did exist were 12 executives that had come from different airlines around the world, so like British Airways, Continental, American, Qantas and so on, and they're all sat around the table. Now of course for them to be sat around the table and be recruited by Virgin America, they were pretty vociferous and pretty hard-nosed sort of people. They sort of climbed the totem pole and they were pretty much top of what. And if we'd have set about trying to get an agreement on what an ideal airline would look like, we'd never got there in a month of Sundays. Right? So what we said, we used this technique. We said, okay guys, is there anybody who doesn't, if you're a CEO, doesn't know the shape of the airline we're going to operate? How is it going to be? And everybody said, oh, of course I know exactly how I would do it. We said, fantastic. What we want you to do is to make a note of the moments of truth that you believe should exist in the ideal airline. Do it by yourselves. So we gave them like 15 minutes to think about it. And of course they were doing things like, as you would do, things like buying the ticket. How would you buy the ticket? Arriving at the airport, boarding the plane, all those sort of things. So they gathered together, each had a little pile of post-it moments of truth. And then we did the affinity mapping. That's where you all come together and you remove the duplicates. Right? And we've done the affinity mapping. We then applied this technique to the resulting moments of truth. And sort of said which are the ones that are going to give us the best return. That's the result of Virgin America. That's how they came about. Right? So of course they all agreed because they could all see that their ideas were engaged within that as well. Alright. So it's very fast. It's a strategic tool set if you want to use it like that. So what should we be doing in the next 5 years? Well, what are the key interactions we want to have with our customers? So let's define those. Then let's apply the technique to those key interactions, and then let's optimise our process around that. So it's a choice you've got, right? I would use it if I'm going into a client and I don't know how their business operates, but I can hazard a guess. I would use it, just on a notepad, make a note of it, work it through, and then when I sit down and have a dialogue with them, say, so let me get this right. My understanding of how your business operates is this, and of course they'll correct you or point you in the direction, but it gives you a starting point. So if you're going into a new situation and you don't actually know the process, what you might know or be able to infer is what the customer experience in terms of moments of truth is like. So it's a multifaceted tool. I mean, it's not either better or worse. It's better in the sense that it delivers significantly better results. And organisations like Apple, all Apple's innovations over the last 13 years have been predicated on this. This came out of Apple. So when you're doing it, that's why we refer to it sometimes as the Apple Innovation Formula. Of course you could copy it, Samsung have copied it, lots of different people have copied it. It's relatively easy to do, isn't it? Okay. So what I would like you to do is, and again it's not formal this one, I'm not videoing it or anything, what I'd like you to do is just talk team here, talk to team there about what your solution looks like, and then vice versa. So just 5 minutes each. Okay?
Okay, so what we're doing is, so rather than a shopping list, as you take things out of the fridge, that you scan it and then it goes onto a list. That list is linked into our phone app or whatever that goes directly to the store, so the store knows what you're going to shop for. When you go to the store, you log into a trolley. Like first of all, you go to the car park and the car park tells you, Sharon, come follow this line here. When you get to that car park, you get the trolley straight away, so you don't have to look for one. Then you log into the trolley, and then it sort of takes you around the store. So when you log into the store, you know it knows you want 300 grams of silverside or something, so that's already ready there for you. And as you're putting things into the trolley, they're being scanned straight away, and